I've been wanting to do this video for some time now, and since it's raining and my backyard has almost been completed, we've been putting the pool in, you can see here, I'm able to come back out here and do some videos. Just got done doing the last paddler standing on a sup, and now it's back to kayaking, surf skis, canoes. Next race is the Everglades Challenge, which I will be using this 18X Sport by Epic to do that. This is my second 18X I've owned. Actually, make that third. I bought a 18X back in 2017. I bought a tandem 18X about 3 or 4 years ago, which I have sold, and bought this year 2 days before the Everglades Challenge, and was able to go out and set a new record for solo, and hopefully this upcoming year, 2024, I'll be able to take this boat and beat the all-time tandem paddling record, which I'm about 1 hour off of. So this is definitely my favorite boat to paddle out of all the canoes, surf skis, OC6, dragon boats, sups. This is my favorite. I don't know if it has something to do with being my first boat I ever owned. Well, actually it's my second boat I owned. I owned a V8 before this, which is basically this same boat but in a surf ski layup. I just love paddling this boat. It's just so enjoyable. And in this video I'll give you some reasons why. So just to start off, this is an 18-foot kayak. It's 22 inches wide. It has a capacity of 380 pounds. That's person and gear. The cockpit dimensions are 16 by 33. Lots of room to get in and out of. Has kind of a snug feel when you're in there too, which is nice in the seat. I hate skis that are real wide. I want to feel like I'm kind of part of the boat. This one has the smart track steering system on it, where my other boat had the under stern rudder, which I did like. So this is the performance layup. You get a black bow and stern. If it was the ultra layup, it would be a red bow and stern. And it is a sport. The sport is a little bit wider, not by much. The weight of this boat is about 42 pounds. If you had the red bow and stern, the ultra layup, you'd be looking at about 39 pounds, so 3 pound difference. It's made of fiberglass, carbon fiber, and Kevlar. They vacuum infuse this with it's like a heat cured epoxy. If you look at it up close in a lot of areas, it looks like a honeycomb. Pretty common to all the other kayaks. Well, no, not really. So I'm going to start at the front. The first thing they changed on this boat for my last kayak was the handles, bow and stern. These are more solid. The other one was just like a handle tied to the boat, and it latched into like a bungee cord. I always thought it was going to break. I bought the boat back in 2017, and I carried that boat with way too much weight in it plenty of times, and that handle never broke. The elastic cord was strong. Even it was even frayed. It was still strong. I always add on an American flag sticker. It's reflective. Just love the way it looks with the name Epic. Got my Florida flag sticker up front. These are all factory, the lines. You have rope, and then you have the elastic bungee style rope, which is great for securing things to the deck. The front hatch, which I've already got undone, has a nice rubber seal. It's attached by a lanyard or a rope. The bow storage on this boat is 23 gallons. That's a huge storage. It's actually larger than the rear. The rear seems larger, but there's more up front than there is in the rear. Very simple to latch back down. Just push those to the side. The boat stays. Everything in the front hatch, I have never, I own that boat, the last one for 7 years, and ran it on every Everglades challenge, except for this year's Everglades challenge. So I went through 6 Everglades challenge. Went through, I couldn't tell you, 1,000 miles of training trips. I don't even know how many. The boat was always really dry. It wasn't until the last year of owning it where I had problems with it leaking. Not in the front hatch, in the rear hatch. But that wasn't because of the hatch itself. That was because of the rudder system. So one of the biggest reasons I like this boat is because the deck has cutaways for your paddling. So the old Epic, the deck wasn't cut, so it was wider on each side. This way, this is just like your surf skis. When you're paddling, you're able to get a more efficient stroke, more vertical stroke. So when your blade enters water, it gets a nice good catch. Definitely my favorite thing about this boat. My 18X tandem boat had the same design. Loved it. They also added a day hatch in front of you. This, to me, I do not like. The Devil had this also. My previous boat did not have this. The problem with this boat and the hatch, or the storage, is this, which is now out, I took it out today, was mounted underneath, and you can see the pedals back there. Your feet would hit it. And I don't have massive feet. I can imagine for anybody with bigger feet, I wear a size 11 shoe, and I would hit it. I was able to get by on the Everglades Challenge, and I did use this boat in the Alabama 650, and was able to get by also with that being in there. But after dusting the boat off after the last power standing, I decided to just write down everything I needed to change about the boat. That was one of them. And so I did that today, along with a couple other things, which I will show you. But the beauty of this now is, and I've always wanted this, when you put a skirt on the boat, it develops quite a bit of heat, which is nice when it's cold out. But if you're in pretty windy, wavy conditions and you have the skirt on and it's summertime here in Florida, well, then you are getting hot. And I always thought, man, it should be nice if I could just have a vent. Well, now I do. I I can open this up and I would have a vent just to release some of that heat. I also mount my GPS to this hatch. It's on a swivel, which of course it doesn't swivel when it's on there because I don't need the swivel. It's going to just point straight at me. And being that it's here, I don't hit it with my paddle, which is nice. These elastic straps I can tie down maybe a speaker up here, or just something simple. You don't want a lot of things on your deck. The last thing you want on your deck is something that, mostly if you're in a headwind, that's going to slow you down. So you want to stow everything. You want to make the boat as aerodynamic as possible. If it is a tailwind, though, you want to take everything you can out of your boat and put it on top of the decks. Just make sure they're secured nice and tight, and then you'll get blown. So they put 18X Sport on the side. Looks real nice. This boat is really durable. This is super strong. You can put a nice tight skirt on there, and if you got to yank it off, you won't damage this. I've never damaged on this boat or the last boat I had. I've seen it damaged on other boats though. Going to the back into the cockpit, you can see this is your rudder system. It is adjustable. This is your foot plate, which is stationary, and then your toes basically control the rudder in the rear. This seat on this boat is fixed, whereas the last seat was mounted to the bottom of the boat here, and you could adjust it back and forth. They got rid of that because well, the seat would break. It would separate from the bottom of the boat. This new setup they have, where it's actually built into the cockpit, does allow you to adjust the seat, but you'll need a tool. It just looks like a Phillips head. And I would always drill holes into my seats to drain the water. You do not want a wet butt. You always want to be as dry as possible in kayaks. That keeps you from chafing, injuries, and those are annoying injuries. I did break the seat on this kayak in the Everglades Challenge. Epic sent me on a new seat. I seem to always break my seats. That's why I always carry foam with me. Just a foam pad I can sit right in here, fold it over just to give myself a little bit of back support. These are really comfortable buckets, these seats. Never put a pad down underneath my butt. It's comfortable. Never have any issues with that. And I've paddled a lot of miles in these boats. I've done 7 Everglades Challenges, 5 Alabama 650s, 22 230s, and other races. This boat is set up with a day hatch. As you can see, it's offset, so you're able just to reach over on your right hand side. This is a 9-gallon day hatch. That's a large area. See, there's a sponge in there. Sponge is pretty good sized sponge, and it has plenty of room. 9 gallons, so you can carry anything you want in there, from water to food to, I usually put my skirt in there if I'm not using it. Anything I want to get at for the day. Anytime I'm going to do a race, I always think about, okay, what am I going to use for the next 60 miles? And whatever it is goes inside this day hatch. So I don't ever have to pull over and waste time searching through these storage compartments, front and rear. That's a waste of time. Just a tip when it comes to storing make sure you mark all your bags. Put the same things back in the bags every single time. You take something out of your boat, you put it back exactly where you got it from. Because if you're 2 days in a race and you're really, really tired, you do not want to have to think, oh, where is this? You know where this is because it's always in that same spot. One thing I repaired today, besides taking out that day hatch that hit my feet, was I adjusted the rudder system. I aligned the rudder, which is pretty simple. There's a alignment in the back of the foot brace. Took me about 10 seconds, I swear, to align my rudder. I wish I would have done that in Everglades Challenge. And I also moved this back. This secures the rope for your rudder. It locks it in place. This was here, which you can see where the two holes were. What would happen is when I came back on my stroke, my elbow would hit this. This is like getting hit by a hammer is what it feels like. My elbow, I took this boat out 4 days ago and I hit it and my elbow still hurts. It's like I cracked something inside of my elbow. And I remember doing that on the Everglades Challenge over and over and over. The only good thing about doing it on the Everglades Challenge is when I hit it, it woke me up. It's like smashing your thumb with a hammer. So I do recommend moving that back. Some people might say, well, it's just you're doing an improper stroke. I don't care what it is. Get it out of the way, because if you do an improper stroke and you hit that with your elbow, oh my gosh, it's the worst. Took a couple minutes to remove this. Here's the rear storage compartment. This is 21.9 gallons, so the front one actually has an extra gallon. Tons of room. Tons of room. Great place to stow your paddle on top of the boat. Put it under here and under here. That's single blade and double blade. I do a lot of single blading in my kayaks and surf skis on long races. The beauty of bringing your single blade out after you've been double blading all day. If you're double blading all day, you're just getting wet. So when it comes time to nighttime, you can put that double blade away and get out the single blade and put some dry clothes on, and it's just like you're changing from day to night, and you're going dry. Single blades are so dry, and I'll just go all night with that single blade and have my double blade back here. Now if the conditions get real rough at night, I'll go back to my double blade, because I can keep the boat more stable with a double blade. I'm very good at bracing with double blades. Coming back here to the back, this is the Smart Track rudder. This is the over the stern rudder. The old 18X I had it under the stern rudder, and one of the reasons I bought this boat earlier this year is because that under the stern rudder, which is mounted here and had the lines coming through the boat, well, the orange tube that the line runs through cracked, so water is able to pour into the boat, and I was not able to get a comfortable seal on that when fixing it, so I decided to go buy a brand new boat. 2 days before the race, and it was worth every penny. So just a couple things about this boat that I really, really enjoy. It's fast. It's not just fast, it's stable. And when you're stable, you're comfortable. When you're comfortable and stable, you're efficient. When you're efficient, you're fast. over long periods of time. If you're constantly trying to stay stable in a boat, you will not be efficient. If you're not efficient, you will not be fast. I'm carrying 50, 60, 70 pounds of extra weight on the Everglades Challenge because you have a checklist that you have to meet of equipment standards before the race. So you have a tent, you have cooking utensils, you have a stove, you have gas, water, food, all the nutrients, shelters, hypothermia systems, a GPS, maps, radios, lights, batteries, extra batteries. The list just goes on and on and on. I remember my first Everglades Challenge. I thought this is absolutely crazy to have to carry this much equipment. However, over my last 7 Everglades challenges, I've used every single piece of equipment that is required. And the one that surprised me the most, which I used the first year, was my hypothermia kit. It was like 75 degrees out and I got hypothermia. Just probably from lack of nutrition, paddling all day. I had to stop to change, and next thing I know, I'm jackhammering, can't get my body temperature back up. So anyways, you're carrying just an incredible amount of weight. The water alone that you have to carry. And this boat is able to carry all that and perform like it's a lighter boat. It's really easy to carry this boat. You just throw it on your shoulder. It's the best way to carry a boat. I used to grab the inside of the cockpit on my other 18X, but the way this one is designed, it's not balanced enough to where you grab it where the seat is. It doesn't allow you to get your hand under there for a good grip. So I just pick this boat up and throw it on my shoulder. You know, when you're portaging in the Everglades Challenge, you're gonna take everything out of your boat and carry that stuff across first, and then go back and get your boat. The rudder is really good in waves, in current. Keeps the boat nice and straight if you have the alignment right. It's really nice having this pull cord here to secure your rudder. And the reason is because when you're paddling and you go through a bunch of weeds or grass and they get stuck on that rudder, just pull on this cord here and it lifts up the rudder. Goodbye weeds, and away you go. You're back to your original speed. Where if you're in a surf ski and you don't have a weed guard, man, it really stinks to have to stop in a race and clear the weeds on your rudder. Talk about losing a race. I've taken this particular boat and my old 18X into some really rough conditions, and it's handled everything I've ever thrown at these boats. Once you put that skirt on and you become watertight, I've never capsized it. It's never sent me swimming. And when I'm racing, if I pull up to Charlotte Harbor at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, that's usually about the time I get there, and it's 4 to 5 feet through Charlotte Harbor, Boca Grande, and the current's ripping, and there's not a lot of moonlight, and you're out there all by yourself. It sure is nice to be in a boat that is capable like this boat is. And I'm sure you can find that in other boats. I just don't paddle other boats. I've always been an epic person from day one. This boat handles the worst of conditions. And I've been in the worst of conditions in these boats. If you want to win races, you cannot pull up to a pass that's white capping and stop. You have to cross. Because if you're not willing to cross, somebody else is willing to cross, and now you're losing. So you need to train in order to do these kind of things. I just believe it helps to have a boat that is capable. And you look at the front of this boat, and it just looks like a knife's edge. That thing is slick. It really cuts the waves. I like this one because it spears through the waves, whereas a lot of kayaks have that that kind of sloping front and rear. And those do look neat, but I think I'd rather cut through the waves than be thrown up over the waves. Maybe that allows you to go faster through them. I'm sure there's some pros and cons to it. You can add a sail to these kayaks. I had a Falcon sail on my previous kayak. I only got to use it one time in the Everglades Challenge. That was the first year. But I've taken that thing out, or my 18X out, in 18, 20 mile an hour winds with that Falcon 1 meter sail on it. And if you want to go out and have some fun, that's a great way to do it. These handles are really good for mounting lights too. Bow and stern lights. I showed you that sponge earlier. That sponge is from Home Depot. You can buy those, are masonry sponges. You can waste your money all you want at the kayak stores buying sponges. They suck. And I don't mean that in a good way. They're about $10 to $12, and they don't work well. That masonry sponge is 6 for $10, and the longer you use them, the better they get. I'll be racing this boat the first week of March in the Everglades Challenge 2024, where I hope to set the fastest course record. I've got to go 2 days, 19 hours to do it. And that'll beat the tandem record held by some very good kayakers. Iron Bob and his son Druce, aka Juice. Hope to see you guys on the beach. Go to watertribe.com and sign up. And if you got any questions about the Everglades Challenge, message me. I can tell you everything you want to know about it.